Warm welcome to my channel, Adam. It's pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Janelle.
And
Thank you for doing this.
I would like to tell the viewers about the work that you do. Like you are helping hardworking dads achieve a life of their dreams by providing coaching, intuitive development, then intuition, manifestation coach, life coach. So kindly take me through that, Adam. What sort of things do you do?
Well, the kind of things I do is right. So, first and foremost, we're all born with the innate ability to be able to manifest the life we love and create the things that we would love to see in our life. But through our development and through society's steering, no fault of anyone's, just the way it is. We create blocks that prevent us from doing so. And these are somewhat subconscious blocks or unconscious blocks, but we very much get in our own ways. And it's about developing or honing the ability to see where we're putting these blocks and how it's affecting us and to take the action anyway.
Hmm.
Because
Okay.
because quite often these blocks can come up as very big life changing or traumatic experiences, but it's about how you focus. So yeah,
Wow.
does that make sense?
I was, as you know, that I was watching your video where you talked about purpose. What's the purpose? And you mentioned a couple of gods, but the ultimate purpose is to follow, I guess, the greatness. You said something, greatness of your heart. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. So essentially, we all have a purpose. We are all born with a purpose, and well, again, as part of the intuitive development, you actually get to divine your own purpose, and this is done through a number of things like uh, we create a set of choices so that you have something to live by. These choices are a intuitively divined set of things that you would love to see in your life, not for anything other than just to love to see them, because our heart knows what it can have and what is achievable. And
Mm,
it's about following your heart and following what you love.
wow.
And this is where purpose comes into it. So, yeah.
Mm, interesting. And what's your purpose, Adam?
Well, I know how much of a buzz I get from serving people and connecting with people. Like, connection is the one thing that we have in any moment in life. Like, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Connection is one thing that can't be removed, it can't be changed. It also has the potential to impact people's lives. You can change people's lives with a smile, right? You
Right.
can reshape someone's world with a kind word. And so connecting with people and seeing them in their greatness and serving their heart from my heart is a massive reward in itself, right?
Makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
And when you talked about initially, you talked about blocks that comes along the way. So I guess the one block, I guess, most of the people, care about is what other people would think of them when they embark on any sort of journey. So what's your take
Yeah.
on?
Well, obviously, as someone who has a great big history of trying to please people, I can speak to that very well. That um, right, it does take a bit of being actually a bit selfish, and that's hard for a lot of people because they don't want to be seen as not being a provider, not being there for people, or not being seen by people. Because and let's get it straight that wanting others' approval is all about being seen. And if we're not seen, then we feel we're not going to get loved.
Hmm.
And if we're not loved, then we're not viable. So if we're not viable, then we should just not act and we should just not do. And so really people just I mean, I'm not telling anyone what to do. This is everyone's own life, right? This is their own choice. But it is about taking that stand because you have to please yourself.
True.
Because
That's true.
ultimately, I mean, you can try till you're blue in the face, you can wear yourself thin trying to please others and make sure everyone else is right, but ultimately you can't.
Hmm, definitely. Uh,
So yeah,
I guess we are two peas in a pod when it comes to that. Even like a few years ago or a few months ago, I was a big, humongous people pleaser. I used to
yeah,
always care about what people would think of me. But then I started having affirmations, and one of the affirmations that I created for myself is that I make no bones about it, although it might sound a little bit harsh, that people are cartoons and their values, their opinions are futile. So I don't have
yeah.
to worry about what people would think of me. They are simply cartoons. Get entertained by them. Enjoy them. Don't think about what they would think about you. So I guess this affirmation helps me a lot. It helps me immensely. And
No, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I can see how that helps. I
yeah,
can see how
it
that helps for you.
it
Yeah,
is. I'm not sure how to say it. Like it's, I'm completely ineffable towards that. But it has, like it's deep rooted inside me. Now I no longer care about people and their opinions. I do care about what animals would think of me because I'm a big animal lover. I'm really into
yeah.
dogs and all. So for me, the opinions of my dogs towards me matter, but not the opinions of people.
Well, the thing is, right, all that you've got to consider at the end of the day, and I'm not saying that any religion has to come to it, but at the end of the day, if you come to the end of your life and you're satisfied with what you've done, and you know that you've given your heart in service of others, then the only real people you need to be speaking with are yourself and whatever your heart believes in, whether it's God, Krishna,
True.
whatever,
Hmm.
you don't answer to anyone other
Yeah,
than yourself and that higher consciousness, right?
definitely. And as you talked about Krishna, Odin, I guess Buddha, I would like to know that are you into mythologies as well?
I am, yeah, yeah, yeah. I've sat through the Vipassana courses as well, so I'm aware of the teachings of Buddha. But yeah, I'm massively into mythology. Yeah.
Oh, uh, and which is the first thing that comes to your mind when you talk about mythologies, like any story or be it Greek?
Um, well, I love the Greek mythologies. I don't
Mhm.
know enough about the Viking. Um, I've got a I've got a copy of the Bhagavad Gita somewhere that
Wow, nice.
I don't read that well, but
Mhm.
it's been a while since I read it. Um, but I love the Greek mythologies the best, and some of the Old English as well, like Arthur and the Round Table and the Knights and stuff like that as well. There's some really good fables from that as well.
Mhm. And which is your favorite Greek mythology, Adam?
That's correct. Yeah. Oh, which is my favorite? Oh, wow, there's a lot to choose from. But one that I really grew up with was Perseus and the Minotaur, right?
Okay. I'm not aware about that. I do know like one Oedipus Rex that I
Yeah,
studied when I was in my master's degree, and
yeah.
Gilgamesh.
Oedipus is a huge, yeah, because it's quite a messed up story as well as Oedipus.
Yes,
There's a lot goes on there. Surprised he's not more of a mess than he is, to be honest.
yes. We are like always that kind of like they have this weird thing. I don't know what's their obsession with those kind of things, but it's there. And even the stories of Hercules and Thor, all this Zeus,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I mean, yeah, Heracles was unreal,
hmm.
considering he wasn't a full god either, just a demigod.
Yeah.
But he was a champion of the people for sure. And I love how it doesn't matter which culture you take the um the myth from. There's always a deep rooted story that you can take from. Like there's always some sort of deep rooted moral that you can
Hmm.
take from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to read between the lines, I guess.
Yeah. Well, myths were the origin of the hero's tale, right? And the hero's tale is that we are born, we come into some sort of strife where we are threatened, our life, well, we essentially feel our lives are threatened, and we have to go into hiding. So in terms of human development or personal development, this is where you're born, and when you're born, you still feel connected to all things through time and space. So you're still that divine being, right? You're
True.
still part of the you're still part of the Godhead. And then as you become more human, you feel the separation from that. So this is where you feel threatened. What you knew is no longer viable. So then you have to hide, or you have to hide from it. And so then you encounter a circumstance in life, or you come across a teaching which teaches you how to reconnect with that greater part of yourself. And in Arthurian folklore, he encountered Merlin, and Merlin reminded Arthur that he was king of the Britons, and he empowered him to go and pull the sword from the stone, essentially, and then after counseled him in ways of being a king. But then you go and vanquish your foe, which in the terms of this is quite often our own blocks, right? It's our own what's the word I'm looking for? I've done that twice now. It is our own resistance to moving
Hmm.
through and achieving what we'd love to achieve. And then once you've come back to the kingdom, the hero, you share the riches with the world. And this is what I'm doing. So I'm still I'm still learning, I'm still growing, but as a coach, it's about taking the gold that I've gotten from my conquest and sharing it with others and sharing it with the world and helping them to find their gold, because we rise by lifting others, right?
Wow, definitely. And you even mentioned that, when it comes to trials and tribulations or vicissitudes of life, it's
Yeah.
inevitable, but how we suffer, that depends on us. You have mentioned that. So, like how we can, face the storm, how we can go through it with a smiling face.
Well, the first thing that we have to remember is that no, none of it's personal.
Hmm.
We because I mean it's understandable. We grow up thinking that everything is about us because that's how we are driven egoically. Yet it's not true. I don't know. It's hard for people to take. Like, oh, it's not about me. It has to be about me, but it's not. It's just life, right? I mean, yeah, it might affect you physically. It might affect you emotionally for a time, but eventually it will pass, right? In Vipassana, they teach you that the only constant is change.
Hmm.
And so you just have to let go of the need to hold on to what you think or how you feel things should be, and just understand this is how it is. And it'll pass, and you can focus on what you would love to have rather than what is happening right now. And it will carry you to a brighter future.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
And Adam, do you believe in the concept of karma?
I do believe in the concept of karma. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, it's been labeled as different things. Like basic witchcraft is karma in action, because what you give out, you get returned, right?
Yeah.
Um, but there's also deeper karma as well, like lessons that you have to learn in life. So there's the everyday karma. So there's your what you give out, you get returned, and then there is your like some people call them Akashic records and things like that. But there is the lessons you have to learn in your life, like every day.
Mm,
And these often come in the forms of resistance. So like imposter syndrome, things like that, feelings of being unworthy. These are often tied to your life lessons or the greatest things you need to learn to evolve beyond where you've been in the past or in past lives.
mm,
So yeah,
wow,
very much believe in that.
interesting. And do you believe in the concept of like rebirth? Like once we die, there is heaven and hell, or there can be a rebirth as well.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, there is a hell, there is a higher plane of existence as well.
Okay.
Um, there are multiverses, there are worlds beyond what we can comprehend on this plane of existence, and there is rebirth. I mean, in terms of karmic lessons, in terms of life lessons, quite often you'll be reborn until you get the lesson in its entirety. So yeah,
And um, I'm still processing these things. It's really, profound the way you speak and your thought process. It's really great.
I
And
appreciate that, my friend.
forgot the question I was supposed to ask you.
It's fine. I've stumbled a few times, so it'll come to you when it comes to you.
I really forgot that question. That was like I was supposed to ask you that question. But anyway,
We can come back to it.
yeah, Adam, I was like when it comes to religion, do you think that nowadays religion is doing more harm than doing good?
Um, well, I think the dogma associated to religion is the issue. It's like I had an experience. I recently went to Vegas because I'm involved with a company um, that is changing the shape of health around the world as well. I'll not go too much into that. Or we can. It's up to you. But I attended a service there, and it was a non-denominational service. But the gentleman giving the service has a massive heart, and he spoke on how it's about having an open heart to receive the love of God over having to obey a set of rules to receive the love of God. Because um, I think, yeah, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu phrased it perfectly in that is it important that Gandhi did not believe in Jesus Christ or Christianity? And he said no, because God has given the will to choose how you love him. And for me, it's no matter what you believe in, right? I'm not saying anyone should believe in Christ or um I'm trying to think of
Uh,
names
Krishna,
or Buddha or
Krishna, Shiva.
Vishnu. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, Vishnu, Shiva. But it's about receiving the love and accepting the wisdom that is readily available for you. Um, I would say that all religions have valuable lessons to teach, and one of the foremost ones that everyone has is know yourself, right?
know thyself.
Yeah. So self discovery and self recognition is the greatest thing that anyone or anything can teach you. And if we stick with that as a core lesson, then we can go a long way with it. But if we start attaching ourselves to the dogmatic laws and rules that we have to apply in order to please the deities or
Mm,
whoever, then we're going very wrong because it removes ourselves from faith. Faith, faith in something larger than ourselves is what can carry us through our darkest times. when we don't have faith in ourselves.
Mm.
But then when we are through the dark times, it will help bolster our faith in ourselves and lift us beyond what we thought we were capable of. Well, that's how I see it now, at least.
And in terms of like one more question, like Adam, majority of the people they are into acquiring a lot of materialistic things. They are only after that. They do not give a damn about other things. So, what's your take on it? Should people go after chase those things, or they should live a life of minimalism?
I this is that's quite a loaded topic
Mhm.
because obviously there's a lot of people would argue. I know that the Buddha himself relinquished all his worldly goods, right? He made himself a pauper, but that was his own choice. He didn't say that anyone else had to do that, but that was his choice so that he could better um, come to understand the universe and come to understand himself, right? He wanted to know himself first and then experience life. Now, the acquisition of wealth is not a negative thing. The the keeping of wealth is not a negative thing. Wealth itself is not a negative thing, it's just a thing. And quite often, no, actually, not quite often, it's actually the receiving of money is an exchange of energy. So, like, if I offer a service, then payment is an exchange of energy. Because I'm giving energy, then I'm also receiving energy. There's
Hmm.
nothing negative about that. There's only the connotation that people put on it. Like, there's an idea that Elon Musk could solve world poverty with a tenth of his fortune. But here is the thing, right? Poverty is a state of mind. It's a state of being. It's not a state of bank accounts. The bank account is a reflection of the person, not the other way around.
Hmm.
So for people to be approached and given a handout, it doesn't solve anything. It's just like giving someone a fish. The fish will feed them for the day, but unless the mindset or the way they live is changed, then it will not affect any change. If anything, if Elon was to give a tenth of his fortune to try and solve world poverty, it would just make the poverty worse because you've got these people who are already feeling like they're impoverished or already living a life of poverty, and then you are giving them a handout because you are recognizing them as impoverished, and so you are just further cementing and concretizing that belief rather than giving them the tools to see how they're wealthy or to empower wealth in them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. True. And
Not saying that I'm not saying that people who are wealthy all make good choices because I know there are some people can be seen as making some really terrible choices in the world, but I'm not here to judge them. I'm
hmm.
only here to judge myself. And I try not to do that because it can hinder me. So,
True. And like when it comes to as you are a life coach, what sort of things you can tell to the people that most of the time they are unaware about? Some sort of advice that you can give.
well, we already covered the first one is that life's not personal. Life is life and it's always going to happen and it's always going to have an effect. But like we touched on earlier, it's about developing the tools and the capability to handle the vicissitudes and really just ride it out rather than letting it sink our boat. Well, that's the first one. That is this is massive as well, right?
Yeah.
Um, I would say to people to if it's in their means to get a coach, like a coach doesn't so much fill a gap that needs to be filled, but if you look at sports people and other things like that, they all have coaches, and a coach is designed to bring out the best in you and to really elevate your results. And that's it. It's not about fixing anything for you. You don't need to be fixed. I'll touch more on that in a second. But it's about really building what's best in you and helping you see it because quite often we can't. And that brings me on to the next part is we as people believe we need to be fixed. Believe we need to fundamentally fix ourselves or heal ourselves to be able to get the life we want. And the trick is that so long as you keep carrying on with that, you're always going to find things that need fixing. You're always going to find things that need healing. So, yeah, just understand that you're perfect as you are, and you're going to be able to do it no matter whether this believed issue is resolved or not.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was another one as well, but it's escaped me now.
And
So, yeah.
Adam, like when you deal with your clients nowadays, there is a huge impact of social media on our minds. Like we are always in the state of restlessness, always comparing ourselves with others. So, what's your take on that?
Well, yeah, that was what I was going to say, right? And that segues into it nicely. Thank you. So one thing I've always noticed about myself in life is that I'm different.
Hmm.
And now different is never better, it's never worse, but it's different. Like I'm different from you. We're both different from the cat sleeping to my right. I'm different from the guy I can see in his garden across the street. But no one is better. No one is worse.
Wow.
We're all just different and we all get different results. It might take some people longer, it might take some people less time, but we all get results. And if we go around comparing ourselves and trying to see I mean, it's not to say you can't leverage someone else's wisdom or someone else's ideas or how they're operating. That's fine. That's evolution. That's growth. But never compare yourself to others because you will rob yourselves of any happiness that you have. Because you could be achieving things that 10 years ago you thought were impossible. Like some days, the only thing you could achieve is getting out of bed in the morning if you're in a really dark place. And that's enough. So don't rob yourself of the victory by comparing yourself with someone else. Be glad and be grateful for being you
Wow.
because we're all incredible.
That's profound. And I guess there is a quote also that goes like this: comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It is. It is. We can lose so much of our lives by trying to be like someone else instead of just being our authentic self.
Mm. Yeah. And that also reminds me of a quote given by that famous poet, I guess, Oscar Wilde, that you have to be yourself. Everyone else is already taken.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I've not heard that one. I like Oscar Wilde. I do
Yeah.
like Oscar Wilde. Yeah.
All right, Adam. I guess I won't hold you any longer. This session was really profound, and thank you for all the advice that you gave and the wisdom from your part. And it was really, intriguing for me to learn all these things from you.
No, no, I appreciate your time, Janil, and I appreciate your energy. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Catch up soon again. Adam,
Yeah, no problem.
keep in touch.
Thank you, my friend. Namaste.